We'll be talking about what are some things that you must make sure of when you're doing descriptive writing. The very first thing that you must make sure of, beta, is the fact that whatever you write about what you already know deeply. Do not pick a place or a location or a person that you're unfamiliar about. Let's say the topic is describe a place that's exciting and one that's relaxing. The examiner does not care if you mention Paris or Turtle Beach. They just want to know what you know, because content is obviously a secondary thing. The main marks you get are for quality of writing. And if you talk about some place that you don't know about, you will obviously be less descriptive and you will waste a lot of time making stuff up. So only know about places that you have been to. Familiar places, descriptions from memory are obviously more vivid, and vivid means stronger. You have a clear memory of the place. So only write about places that you have been to and you know about. So like this, if you're describing your grandmother's house, that would be a better memory and you would know more about it. So let's take this paragraph for example. I still remember the alley, the road behind my grandmother's house, where mint grew wild between the cracks in the cement. After the rain, the scent of mint rose up and mixed with the earthy smell of wet soil and the sting of kerosene from nearby stoves. I could almost taste the memory. So write what you know deeply. That is the first thing that you must take away from here in this video. Write what you know deeply. So these are the do's and don'ts of descriptive writing. So do number 1, write what you know deeply. The second do that you have, beta, is that you must create atmosphere. So right now, I'm not mentioning techniques of descriptive writing, I'm mentioning stuff that you must do. So your essay should create atmosphere, and there are only 3 things to do that. The first thing is you must mention the weather and time somewhere in your descriptive essay. The weather is your best friend. So you know what time of the day is it. The weather and time of the day combined really give way to creating ambience and atmosphere. So you must refer to weather and time during your descriptive essays, like we did in the last example video. We talked about example essays and we saw that the person was saying that the radiance of the sun in the morning sky. So it talks about how radiant the sun is, how it's a nice pleasant weather. Okay, and then if you're mentioning something about later in the evening, you can say that, or let's say you're mentioning something in the middle of the afternoon, you can say that you can mention about how the sun rays are now leading to stifling heat. Now it's really hot out there. Okay, then obviously the third thing that we're going to look at here is, beta, your senses. Okay, so I'm going to relabel these because they are labeled according to a different format here. So this is your second thing, create atmosphere. The third thing you have, beta, is use of senses. There is no other way but to use all of your 5 senses in descriptive writing. You are supposed to write about 350 to 450 words. So obviously in those 350 to 450 words, you will have 1 hour to attempt this question, right? So in 350 to 450 words, you can at least mention each sense at least once. What are our 5 senses, beta? To sound, smell. Okay, sorry, here the senses aren't mentioned. They should be mentioned somewhere around here. Yeah. So here are the 5 senses. Okay, we are not supposed to list them, we're supposed to engage them. So what are our 5 senses? You can smell something, taste something, hear something, feel something, and what's the last one? So hear, smell, taste, feel, and speak. So you need to mention all of them. All of those should not be listed, but they should be included. So it's not like a checklist. It's supposed to be done. Let's assume you're writing about something in the first paragraph, and in the first one you talk about the visual details. Then you mention the olfactory senses, Then you mention the tasting senses, and one by one you agree and clear all of them. Okay, so in one paragraph, you're not supposed to list down all of them. Only do like 2 to 3 in one paragraph. Even 1 is fine. So it should be done in such a way that when the character reads it, they can feel the same thing. They can hear the same sound. They can smell the same scent. Okay. So here, the wind pushed warm air over my skin. So it's a feeling reminding me I was finally home. So whenever you have a feeling, you can relate it to something else. Okay, then inside my father grilled meat. Now smell. And the smoky scent drifted over the garden. reminding me of all the evenings I had spent devouring the same set. So, only two things here, but in a lot of detail. So, all senses must be used, beta, in descriptive writing. What next, beta? What next is order. We talked about order before as well. In our previous video, I told you that order matters. Order is that you can either follow a chronological order in your essay. So, chronological means according to time, or you can mention something according to importance. What happens the first is important and then later. But whatever you do, please stay consistent. If you're doing chronological order, then it must be in chronological order one after another. You can't ship and skip in between them. Okay, please do not skip. Please follow the same order throughout your essays. Alright, then beta, what you need to look at is we did the created atmosphere. This is an example essay for created atmosphere. Okay, so weather and time is used, then you can match the tone to your setting. So if your story is about a hopeful incident, if your story is about something good that happened, then you can set a creative hopeful tone. So if it's a good day, if you're mentioning something that happened that was good, you can talk about how the sun was shining, how there was, let's say, birds were chirping in the air, stuff like that. But if you're talking about a hopeless scene, you can mention gloomy lights, you can mention it was dark, it was raining. All of that contributes to your story. Because it's not a story, right? It's a description. So it must match your setting. So, like here, it says that fog laced the streets like a whisper, shop windows glowed faintly, blurred like underwater light. Each footstep echoed too loud in the stillness. Something felt off. Something bad is happening, beta. So we know that it's a gloomy setting. Then what's next, beta, is that this is obviously one of the biggest things that you have in descriptive writing, that you're supposed to show something, not supposed to mention it. Please never mention any feelings like this. She was angry, no. She was sad, no. She was happy, no. Let's say you're saying she was angry. You will say that she slammed the cupboard door, arms crossed tight. So she's angry. What if I wanted to say she's happy? You can say that her giggles echoed through the air. Her giggles echoed through the air, barely able to hold in her excitement. So this tells us that she's very happy and excited. See, that is what I mean when I say show, don't tell. You're not supposed to tell anything, you're supposed to show it. Let the reader see it. So avoid naming feelings, let the reader feel it. Show feelings through actions and expressions, how they're behaving. So they start giggling and barely unable to hold her excitement tells us that she was automatically happy. Then with a contrast adds depth. We did this in the last paragraph, last example story in the previous video as well. Talk about opposite things. Opposite things would automatically help you reach a perfect balance in descriptive writing. So if let's assume, for our last video, we looked at the topic that was describe a place in the evening and in the morning. And what did you describe? You described your neighborhood, right? So first you mentioned how in the start of the day, the children were so happy and rushing around, and in the evening they were tired from the day. So this is the same thing, but there's contrast. Opposite things are happening, beta. So opposite things really add depth to your story. So for example, here, yeah, let's say you're talking about an event and you're like, sunlight fell in golden stripes on the cracked hospital tiles. So you know, inside, what is it? If it's an inside of a hospital, it must be a serious situation. So outside, children laughed, and inside, our fingers trembled around the get well balloon. So outside, children are so happy, everything's happy, good. But inside, it's really sad and harsh and intense. Okay, so mix opposite things and use it to reveal tension. The last thing I have for you, beta, is striking a narrative and descriptive balance. Please remember, you don't want a story, so you should not have a narrative framework. No story writing should be happening here. Okay, it's supposed to be a balance. Do not go into characters' problems. Okay, try to have minimal characters. Describe other people, but it should not be in a first person POV. I would suggest for most of your stories you can write it in a third person POV. So you're not a person in a story, you're not the person in the story, you are just looking at the story from an outsider POV. Okay, that helps a lot. And remember, just do not ever include a conflict. It's a descriptive essay. What really helps when you look at a descriptive essay is, Vida, how you should look at a descriptive essay is, it's as if you were looking at a portrait. It's as if there's a portrait in front of you. Okay, there's a picture, and the picture is still, and you're just describing what's happening in the picture. Nothing is changing. You're just describing whatever is you can see. So the characters obviously in the picture aren't moving now. They're still. You're describing a still image. That's how descriptive writing works. Okay, you're describing a very still image. Nothing new is happening. All right, and those are the major 8 aspects of descriptive writing. Now we'll look at some other example responses and what the candidate and the examiner has to say about it. So this is another candidate response. We'll read that later on, inshallah.